in an automated manner. And at the end of it, you would say something like, you received my 8 health tips about prostate health, or about how to look after your vision, or how do you deal with your recurrent tonsillitis or whatever. This is how you, if you want to get in touch, this is how you do it. I'll send you another email in a week or two time just to remind you. And then the last email says something along the lines of, I do hope your problem has settled down, it's no longer troubling you. And then a final, if you want to get seen by me, click reply or pick the phone. Otherwise, make sure you do have seen someone and say goodbye. Because the difference with what you guys are doing, you're trying to get people to pick up the phone and seek advice and help. But that's not something that's like going to take an infinity. It's going to be, they're either going to do it or they're not within maybe a couple of weeks or something. Okay, so that's that. So that your sequence would be completely automated, and it would just run. The advantage of that is that first of all, that's the number of people who will. Those are the proportions of people who will pick up the phone. These are the proportions of people who will give you their email details. And then of those, very many more, a large proportion of those red people, it is variable, it is not predictable, it varies on so many things, but a large proportion of those red people will pick up the phone and book an appointment to come and see you. So what we're talking about is that one, going into lots of emails, and of those, just for the sake of numbers here, I think there's 15 or 16 red people there, say 10 of those. So instead of one person becoming a patient when all you've asked them to do is pick up the phone, you've got 10. These are just, I'm trying to emphasize the difference, that's all, not absolute numbers. Do you see? This is A level. Yes, this is one of the advanced strategies that we're talking about, but it works. And it works really, really well. Let me give you an example. I hope I've got it here. So there was an eye surgeon, and you probably will have seen the testimonial. So there was an eye surgeon I worked with. Right, okay, and he gave me a testimonial. So I set the system up for him, okay? And let me just, I don't know if you can read that. So in the pink box. So he was earning, so he was getting cataract surgery from once every 2 weeks. So, 2 a week, 2 a month, to between 4 and 6. Well, you can read it for yourself there, can't you? So when we started working together, he was earning £42,000 per annum privately on his overall eye surgery. He'd only been he'd only been appointed, I think, 18 months before. And then if you work out the numbers, just on the cataracts, it went up to between £168,000 and £252,000 by doing this process, by getting people to sign up through email marketing. And that excludes the AMD and other conditions he was treating, which we're also doing. This is purely referring to patients with cataracts. So this works. Your gut feeling say, well, it's all complicated. And yes, it's not a simple thing. It's not very complicated, but it's not a basic, simple thing. Your gut feeling would say people will be bored, they'll think you're spamming them, blah, 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 etc. Who's going to sign up for a free report and all the rest of it. But, like I say, your opinion doesn't matter, my opinion doesn't matter, the facts matter. Those are the facts.
I think we'd have to write the report. You don't fancy doing that as well, do you?
I can do all these things, but the point is you can as well.
Have you got one? What would be really attractive as someone who's providing a service is I can't be asked to write a report, Dev. And I suppose there's lots to do. Does it matter if the report's the same in Bournemouth, Birmingham, Nottingham? It's a report, right? So
yeah, and the report is a patient information.
Report and you can use it and you can charge you for it.
I can do these things for you, but what I'm not trying to say, look, give me some money and I'll do this thing for you. What I'm trying to say is, look, you're here to learn. But you want me to tell you and show you and teach you and demonstrate how to grow your private practices. I'm trying to give you strategy after strategy after approach, after a mechanism to do this.
So how do you...
Now, some of this you will say, all right, I'll go ahead and do that, and you can and are willing to do it yourself. Other times say, well, this is all complicated, and pay-per-click marketing we'll talk about later, shortly, AdWords. It's something I do commend to all of you. Some of you may be willing to dig into the intricacies of it and make it happen. I would suggest that you probably ask somebody else to do it, because it is very technical. It can be very technical. But that, as I say, I'm not trying to sell you something. I'm trying to fulfill my side of the bargain.
Do you have that? Have you got pre-printed emails? Or is it something that...
No, because you create it, because it would be highly relevant to you. So, you know, if you're talking about knee trauma, that's going to be obviously relevant to you in your practice, but also specifically about knee trauma. If you're now talking about degenerative joint disease, that's again different. Some of it will be similar. So, you know, what you'd talk about is how you'd manage somebody, so we make it an MRI, occasionally we'll do an arthroscopy, etc., etc. So there are some similarities. You can cut and paste. But what I'm also saying is a lot of that stuff you can cut and paste from your own website. You've got to write this stuff anyway. Yeah. If you're going to get any of the results that we talked about, you have to change your content of your websites. You've demonstrated that to yourselves by showing how badly it's working. So you've got to make those changes. But now you can reuse and recycle and repurpose the same content.
Because it can be just what's on your website. They don't
Yes.
know that, do they?
And yeah, and it could be almost identical. But now the point is that nobody's been conned.
Yeah.
They've asked the information. The great advantage is you can say on the first thing is, you know, this is taken from my website, but now you can print it, take it off, print it off, staple it, and look at it offline and read it yourself and show it to your sister or show it to your mother with her cataracts and all the rest of it.
How long should these reports be? About a page or?
No, as long as necessary.
Well, yeah, you obviously don't want to overdo it.
No, you can't overdo it. You can only make. You can't overdo it. You can't give people. You can be boring. You can be unintelligible. You can be jargon laden, which will also be unintelligible, and all the rest of it. But you can't give them too much information. Yeah. Like if I gave you, like today, yeah, you could say I'm giving you too much information about growing your private practice, and I'm very conscious of the fact there's so much I haven't told you. We'd need a week. We need more to give you the real sound picture. But the risk is that I overwhelm you. But what I want you to do is all of you, as I said yesterday, is to say, okay, I'll take a bit of that and a bit of that and a bit of that, and you create your own blueprint to achieve your goals. Now, not everything you're going to want to do, and some things are going to be more difficult for you, or whatever. You won't want to do everything. But there are some things that you have to do. We talked about the basics yesterday. You really must do those. That's not optional. But other stuff, such as email marketing, or such as Facebook or AdWords, the stuff you can bolt on and choose. So that way you come up with and some things won't be appropriate to all of you. Yeah? But in that way you build a personalized approach to growing your practice. Do you see what I mean? I'm not saying you must all do this. I would strongly suggest you try it later, but you've all got other things you need to get on with first. Any other questions? Coffee beer in 15 minutes. So that's email marketing. And I think but you see how these things build upon each other, yeah? Yeah, you get your web